Hello and welcome to Inside. I'm Madhav Das Gopalakrishnan. Over the next half hour, we'll be taking a quick look at two issues and its impact on who sits inside this building, the Kerala Nema Sabha or State Legislative Assembly. Now, the church has been a traditional support base of the UDF. In this election, however, it is being wooed by the BJP and has also seen conciliatory noises coming in from the left. But first, we will take a quick look at Kannur's history of political violence. Is it coming down? And what is the impact it has during this campaign? Let's find out.
The state of Kerala goes to the polls on the 6th of April, and the big question remains whether the trend of governments alternating between the LDF and the UDF over the last 3 decades with each election will continue. There are multiple issues that could decide the outcome in 2021, but a story that has been a constant in Kerala politics, particularly over the last 4 decades, is political violence. It has claimed scores of lives and remains a scar in a state renowned for its human development indices, literacy rates and communal harmony. The epicenter of this political violence is the district of Kannur, though it's not as if other parts of the state have been immune to the scourge. Between 2000 and 2017, as per reports, there were 172 political murders in Kerala. 65 of those killed have been RSS and BJP workers, 85 have been workers of the CPIM, and 11 people were from the Congress and the IUML. Though the Kerala Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan has claimed that political killings in Kerala during his tenure since 2016 have come down, the Congress in 2019 claimed that there were 29 political murders in the state within 1,000 days of Mr. Vijayan's tenure. In December last year, Manilal, a CPM worker, was killed in Kollam with the CPM cadres blaming the RSS. In February 2021, an RSS worker, Nandu Krishna, was killed in Alappuzha and 8 SDPI workers were arrested. During another election season in Kerala, the issue of political violence has once again taken centre stage in Kannur. This is COT Nazir, who is contesting from the Talasheri seat as an independent. CCTV footage from August 2019 shows how Nazir was attacked allegedly by members of the CPM. As per Nazir, the vehicle that the attackers came in was registered under the name of the elder brother of Talasheri MLA AM Shamsir of the LDF. Nazir says that the attack was at Shamsir's behest after he decided to move on from the party.
Mr. Nazir, tell us, what is the incident of violence that took place? What are the circumstances? What was the reason?
2019 മെയ് 18-ാം തീയതിയാണ് കഴിഞ്ഞ ലോക്സഭാ തെരഞ്ഞെടുപ്പിൽ മത്സരിച്ചതിൻ്റെ ഭാഗമായിട്ട് ഇവിടുത്തെ MLAയുടെ നേതൃത്വത്തിൽ വെട്ടിക്കൊല്ലാനുള്ള ശ്രമം നടന്നത്. കാരണം കണ്ണൂരിനെ സംബന്ധിച്ച്, കണ്ണൂരിൻ്റെ പൊളിറ്റിക്സിനെ സംബന്ധിച്ച് അക്രമ രാഷ്ട്രീയം, വയലൻസ് പൊളിറ്റിക്സാണ് പ്രധാന വിഷയമായി ജനങ്ങളുടെ ഉള്ള വിഷയം. അപ്പോൾ അതിൻ്റെ ഭാഗമായി കഴിഞ്ഞ ലോക്സഭാ തെരഞ്ഞെടുപ്പിനകത്ത് 2019 മത്സരിച്ചതിൻ്റെ ഭാഗമായി വളരെ മൃഗീയമായി വണ്ടിയൊക്കെ മേത്ത് കയറ്റി വളരെ മൃഗീയമായി വെട്ടിക്കൊല്ലാനുള്ളൊരു ശ്രമം നടത്തിയിട്ടുണ്ടായിരുന്നു. അത്ഭുതകരമായി അതിൽ നിന്ന് രക്ഷപ്പെട്ട ആളാണ്. അപ്പോൾ ഇപ്രാവശ്യം മത്സരിക്കുന്നത് ആ കേസിൽ പോലീസിന് മൊഴി കൊടുത്ത MLA ആണ് ഇവിടെ LDF കാൻഡിഡേറ്റ് ആയിട്ടുള്ളത്. ആ കാൻഡിഡേറ്റിനെതിരെയാണ് മത്സരരംഗത്ത് വന്നിട്ടുള്ളത്.
അതെന്തായിരുന്നു കാരണം? ഇങ്ങനത്തെ ഒരു അറ്റാക്കിന് എന്തായിരുന്നു കാരണം?
ഞാൻ മുമ്പ് CPM ലോക്കൽ കമ്മിറ്റി, ഫോർമർ CPM ലോക്കൽ കമ്മിറ്റി മെമ്പറാണ്. അപ്പം അതിൻ്റെ ഭാഗമായി പാർട്ടി വിട്ടു എന്നുള്ള ഒരു പ്രശ്നം കൂടി ഇതിനകത്തുണ്ട്. പിന്നെ കൂടാതെ തലശ്ശേരി ക്രിക്കറ്റിൻ്റെ ഈറ്റിലമാണ്. ക്രിക്കറ്റ് ഇന്ത്യയിൽ ആദ്യമായി കളിച്ച സ്ഥലമാണ് തലശ്ശേരി. അപ്പോൾ അതുമായി ബന്ധപ്പെട്ട ഒരു ചരിത്രപരമായ സ്റ്റേഡിയം നിർമ്മിക്കുന്നതിലുണ്ടായ അഴിമതിയും അപാകതയും ചൂണ്ടിക്കാട്ടി ഞങ്ങളൊരു പ്രതിഷേധമൊക്കെ ഇവിടെ നടത്തിയിട്ടുണ്ട്. അപ്പോൾ അതിൽ MLA വളരെ ശുഭിതനായിരുന്നു. ആ MLAയുടെ ഒരു ഗ്യാങ് പൊളിറ്റിക്സ് തലശ്ശേരിയിൽ രൂപാന്തരപ്പെടുത്തുന്നതിൻ്റെ ഭാഗമായി അദ്ദേഹത്തിന് ഭയപ്പെടണം എന്നുള്ളതുകൊണ്ട് അദ്ദേഹവും അദ്ദേഹത്തിൻ്റെ ആൾക്കാരും ചെയ്തതാണ്.
Shamsir denies these charges outright. He was taken aback when Times Now put the question to him about Nazir's accusations.
One of the candidates against you also has been levelling charges that he was attacked in the last election by because he exposed some corruption, etc. That's his allegation. What would you say about that?
Look, so far I had not made any comments regarding that. The people of Talasheri knows me very well. I started my political career from here as a student politics. I joined in SFI while I'm studying in 5th standard. I was first contested in my 9th standard. The people of Talasheri knows me by the age of 13 or 14. Now I am 40 plus, the beginning of the 40. So they knows me. The allegations made by is totally false. Why they didn't book me?
They are associated with you?
Yeah, till this moment he is very close to me. We used to talk with him. If he is my enemy, then he will come and meet me. We used to talk. We used to talk in a friendly manner. Look, no, he is an attention seeker. He needs attention. That is why he is creating some unnecessary talks here. So it will not affect the electoral politics here.
But others who have faced murderous attacks in Kannur haven't been as lucky. 51-year-old KK Rema is the UDF candidate from Vadakara, and she is contesting on the ticket of the Revolutionary Marxist Party that her husband founded. Her husband was brutally murdered near their home in 2012. TP Chandrasekharan was attacked on his motorcycle near his house and stabbed over 50 times. His crime, he left the CPM and spoke out against the party. Rema says that though violence is today lower than before, she will continue to raise her voice against the atrocities committed in the form of political violence.
First and foremost, ഈ ക്യാമ്പയിൻ സമയത്ത് നിങ്ങൾ ജനങ്ങളുടെ അടുത്ത് പോകുമ്പോൾ എന്താണ് മുഖ്യമായിട്ട് ഇഷ്യൂ, പ്രധാനപ്പെട്ട ഇഷ്യൂ എന്താണ് നിങ്ങൾ ജനങ്ങളുടെ അടുത്ത് പറയുന്നത്?
ഒന്ന്, അനീതിക്കെതിരെ, അക്രമത്തിനെതിരെ, സ്ത്രീകളുടെ മുന്നേറ്റത്തിന് വേണ്ടി ഒക്കെയുള്ള ഒരു ജനങ്ങളുടെ ശബ്ദമായിട്ട് പീപ്പിൾസ് വോയിസ് ആയി നിൽക്കണം എന്നുള്ളത് തന്നെയാണ് ആഗ്രഹിക്കുന്നത്. സോ ആ രൂപത്തിലേക്കുള്ള പ്രചരണങ്ങളാണ് ഞങ്ങൾ നടത്തിക്കൊണ്ടിരിക്കുന്നത്.
കഴിഞ്ഞ വർഷങ്ങളിൽ നിങ്ങളുടെ ഓഫ് കോഴ്സ് ഇൻസിഡൻറ്റ് വളരെ ഷോക്കിംഗ് ഇൻസിഡൻറ്റ് ആയിരുന്നു. പക്ഷേ പൊളിറ്റിക്കൽ വയലൻസിൻ്റെ ആ കൾച്ചർ ഇവിടെ കണ്ണൂർ ഡിസ്ട്രിക്റ്റിൽ മാറിയിട്ടുണ്ടോ, കുറഞ്ഞിട്ടുണ്ടോ? ഇതിനെക്കുറിച്ച് എന്താ നിങ്ങൾ ആലോചിക്കുന്നത്?
ഒരുപാട് വ്യത്യാസങ്ങൾ വന്നു. 2008 ഞങ്ങൾ ഇവിടെ പാർട്ടി ഉണ്ടാക്കുന്നത്, സഖാവ് ടി പി ചന്ദ്രശേഖരൻ. 2012 സഖാവ് ടി പി ചന്ദ്രശേഖരൻ കൊല ചെയ്യപ്പെടുന്നത്. അതിനുശേഷം അതുവരെ വലിയ തോതിൽ രാഷ്ട്രീയ കൊലപാതകം ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു. ഇന്ന് വലിയ വ്യത്യാസം നമുക്ക് കാണാൻ വേണ്ടി കഴിയുന്നുണ്ട്. ഈ ഇലക്ഷന് പോലും നമുക്ക് കാണാൻ കഴിയുന്നൊരു കാഴ്ച, പാർട്ടിക്കെതിരെ മുദ്രാവാക്യം വിളിച്ചുകൊണ്ട് ജനങ്ങൾ പുറത്തേക്ക് വന്നിട്ട് പോലും അവർക്കെതിരെ നടപടിയെടുക്കാൻ, അവർക്കെതിരെ ഒന്നും ചെയ്യാൻ പാർട്ടി തയ്യാറായില്ല എന്നുള്ളത് ആ ഒരു രാഷ്ട്രീയത്തിന് വലിയ മാറ്റമാണ്.
V. Raghunath is the Congress candidate from Dharmadom constituency, from where the Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan is contesting. He says he is contesting and reminding the people of the constituency's bloody past.
What are you taking to the people as issues? What are you going to tell them? And why they should vote for you and not for the Chief Minister?
This is against violence. This constituency is always for 22 martyrs were for the UDF here. Last 20 years there is 22 martyrs only in this constituency. That is even near the CM there is so many martyrs happening. So I am against the violence and to the anti-corruption, and also at the same time there is no progress or the what we call the development in this constituency. As a Chief Minister, he can do so many things, but last so many years he was here. He is the Chief Minister for last 5 years, but nothing happened here because there is no development.
Sadanandan Master is the BJP candidate from the Koothparambu constituency. His legs were brutally chopped off in 1994 because he chose to leave the left and join the RSS. He had unsuccessfully contested the polls in 2016, but he did manage to get the Prime Minister to campaign for him. He says that it is the social pressure that is built on the CPM over the years that has embarrassed them into giving up violent means, especially while they are in power.
Let me begin by asking you, sir, you yourself have seen at very close quarters, you have experienced the kind of impact that political violence has. Before we get down to this current election, take our viewers through, what it really meant to have this kind of violence that was openly seen, attacks, counterattacks, and that entire cycle of violence taking place.
Yes, it's not a symbol of a civilized society. If it is a civilized society, the thing, what is the thing is going on is a political violence is going on. The main reason for that is the CPIM എന്ന രാഷ്ട്രീയ പാർട്ടി വെച്ച് പുലർത്തുന്ന അസഹിഷ്ണുതയാണ് ഈ പൊളിറ്റിക്കൽ വയലൻസിന് പ്രധാന കാരണം. മെയിൻ റീസൺ ഈസ് ഇൻ ദ പാർട്ട് ഓഫ് CPIM. They are not allowing other political parties or other organizations to work freely in every village, each and every village, especially in Kannur district. you see, if it is a stronghold of a CPIM, a village, if it is a stronghold of a CPIM, then other political parties, especially our Sangha Parivar workers, they are not allowed to enter the village. What they are telling is, this is our own village. You don't come here. You have no right to work here. That is the main reason for the political violence. If we are ready to work there without the permission of this type of CPIM leaders, then they will react. Reaction will be in the form of violence. That is the main thing. Some reaction, counter action will be there. That is the struggle.
They are saying that RSS is responsible for violence in many cases.
No. Absolutely no. Because some incidents are there, okay. But what is the reason is it was only the struggle for existence. That is the thing. But we are not planning any violence, any other this type of activities.
The left says that efforts have been made to build peace in the region. At a time when they're accusing the centre of employing undemocratic means, the left, especially now that they're in power in Kerala, would be seen to be hypocritical if they're seen endorsing violence. So has the left been embarrassed into reforming its own image with these candidates speaking up?
This government's action is reflected in each and every family. Whether there is no distinction or discrimination, there is no BPL or APL, there is no caste discrimination, there is no religious discrimination, there is no political discrimination. This government stands with the people in all difficult situations. It was Nipah, Oki, 2 floods and the last COVID positions. Then the people's political stand is deriving from their own experiences. That was reflected in the last local body elections.
While levels of political violence in Kannur have certainly come down in recent years, a major reason for that is that victims of the political violence and candidates are not afraid about talking about the scars that the cycle of violence and mindless killings have left behind, in the hope that this will all come to an end one day. A very important factor in the Kerala Assembly elections is always what the church is saying as far as political parties are concerned. From the days where the church and the left used to be virtually at war, now things seem to have changed. Also, the BJP has made huge overtures towards the church in a bid to woo them. How will all of this impact the results on ground? We'll find out.
In the last week of the campaign, 5 BJP candidates and the Deputy Chief Minister of Karnataka, who's also the BJP's Kerala co-in charge, are meeting Cardinal Cleemus Mar Basilos in Thiruvananthapuram. The idea is to canvass for the church support in the assembly polls. But is it really working?
Mr. Ashwanaran, you held a meeting today with senior church leaders. What was the response like, and what really is the party looking at in terms of building sort of social coalitions, if I can put it that way, in these assembly polls?
See, Bharatiya Janata Party has been a party for all the sections of society and for all the religion, all caste and creed, without any discrimination. Basically, it's all nationalism and Indian culture, and we reach out to all sections of society. We want to take all sections of society together, and it's been only a mere perception battle. Most of the times they used to, give a picture that it is against particular religion. All these aspects used to be projected. It is not the truth, and from all the levels, from national level to the grassroots level, we have never ever discriminated any person based on any caste, creed or religion.
We have discussed a lot of concerns of the common people and the country, and especially also that of the Christian community in India. And definitely there was an open atmosphere of sharing and also positively thinking how we could overcome such situations.
But what is different this time around is that the BJP has left no stone unturned to woo the Christian community. The party has tried hard to build a Goa-style vote base comprising of both Hindus and Christians.
BJP has a great chance in this election, basically because the people are fed up with the LDF and the UDF. both are behaving in a typical manner. Whenever they are in power, they help each other. So on issues when they raise in the election, they don't act when they are in power. Because of that, people have lost faith in them. And this is a chance when the BJP for the first time has become a real alternative before the public. This is also because there are constituencies where BJP has won more than 30,000 votes. That is about 40 constituencies. And secondly, people have started looking at BJP as a great alternative against the two parties because they are being seen as two sides of the same coin.
Congress is the only political party in Kerala which can fight against BJP as well as CPM. Left party. This is what, even though outside Kerala we and left parties are going together, in Kerala we have to fight against BJP, we have to fight against CPM and left parties. So Congress has got a double responsibility on which Congress has to work hard. Unfortunately, to be very frank with you, I am unhappy about the groupism in Kerala. Okay, groups are there, it is a natural phenomenon, even in religious organizations. But too much groupism, which is much more powerful than the party, that is dangerous.
Which is why issues such as Love Jihad are featuring prominently in the poll campaign. A few days ago, when Kerala Congress leader Jose K. Mani said that Love Jihad cases need to be investigated, it was seen as a huge U-turn from the left's stated position on the issue as a construct of the BJP and the RSS. After an embarrassed left contradicted him, Mani was forced to retract.
നമ്മുടെ ലവ് ജിഹാദിനെ കുറിച്ച് അത് അന്വേഷിക്കപ്പെടേണ്ടതാണ്, പഠിക്കപ്പെടേണ്ടതാണ് എന്നൊരു നിലപാടാണോ?
ഇങ്ങനെ ഒരു ഇഷ്യൂ വന്നിട്ടുണ്ട്, ആ ഇഷ്യൂ പരിശോധിക്കണം. ആ ഇഷ്യൂ അതിനകത്ത് എന്തെങ്കിലും ഉണ്ടെങ്കിൽ അത് അഡ്രസ്സ് ചെയ്യണം.
പക്ഷേ ഹൈക്കോടതി പോലും അതില്ല എന്ന് തള്ളിക്കളഞ്ഞ ഒരു കാര്യമല്ല.
അത് ഇപ്പോൾ വീണ്ടും ഇങ്ങനെയുള്ള ഒരു അപ്രിഹെൻഷൻ ഇപ്പോൾ ജനസമൂഹത്തിലേക്ക് വന്നിട്ടുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ അതെന്താണെന്നത് പഠിക്കട്ടെ.
അത് സഭയുടെ നിലപാട് അങ്ങനെ ആയതുകൊണ്ടുള്ള
അത് ഇപ്പം ഞാനിപ്പോൾ സഭ പറഞ്ഞതോ, സഭ ഒരിക്കലും ഇങ്ങനെയുള്ള കാര്യങ്ങളിലേക്ക് ഈ പൊളിറ്റിക്സുമായി ബന്ധപ്പെട്ട് ഇടപെടാറില്ല. പക്ഷെ പൊതുസമൂഹത്തിൽ ഇങ്ങനെയൊരു വിഷയം ഇങ്ങോട്ട് വന്നു കഴിഞ്ഞപ്പോൾ അത് കൃത്യമായി ക്ലാരിറ്റിയോടുകൂടി ഇങ്ങനെയില്ല, അല്ല ഇങ്ങനെയുണ്ട്, അപ്പോൾ അത് പഠിക്കട്ടെ.
പക്ഷേ CPM-നെ സംബന്ധിച്ചിടത്തോളം വളരെ ക്ലാരിറ്റിയോടുകൂടി പറഞ്ഞിട്ടുണ്ടല്ലോ, അങ്ങനെ ഒരു ലവ് ജിഹാദ് എന്നൊരു സമീപനം അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഒരു ആരോപണത്തെ അവർ ഒട്ടും തന്നെ യോജിക്കുന്നില്ല, അത് തള്ളിക്കളയുന്നു എന്നാണല്ലോ CPM.
അതാ ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞത്, റിപ്പീറ്റഡ് ആയിട്ട് വീണ്ടും ഇങ്ങനെയുള്ള കാര്യങ്ങൾ വരുമ്പോൾ ആ അപ്രിഹെൻഷൻ, അങ്ങനെയൊരു സംശയം ധ്രുവീകരിക്കേണ്ടതുണ്ട്. അപ്പോൾ അങ്ങനെയാകുമ്പോൾ അത് നോക്കട്ടെ, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഒന്നുകൂടി അഡ്രസ്സ് ചെയ്യട്ടെ. അതിനകത്ത് വിഷയങ്ങളുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ അത് അഡ്രസ്സ് ചെയ്യാം.
There is no controversy at all. I have said right now, the opinion of Kerala Congress and of my individual opinion, it is same as the opinion of the LDF, Left Democratic Front, and also the LDF government.
But earlier you said, sir, there
no,
are cases.
No, I never said that. No U-turn also, there is nothing about it. The question asked me, is anything like this? I said, I never said yes or no. But it is the opinion of the left government, it is the opinion of mine also.
Not only this, a recent incident of harassment of nuns on a train in Jhansi by right-wing groups has also become an issue in the poll season, with Home Minister Amit Shah expressing regret on the campaign trail.
मैं केरल की जनता को आश्वस्त करना चाहता हूं, यूपी में भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार है। केरल के किसी भी नागरिक को चिंता करने की जरूरत नहीं है। जो भी आरोपी है, जिन्होंने भी ये किया है, उनको कानून के हवाले जल्द से जल्द करने का काम भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार करेगी.
But has this been enough to enthuse the church? The Jacobite denomination of the church that lost a lot of its property due to a recent court hearing to the Orthodox section held a meeting with the Prime Minister and the Home Minister in the national capital in a bid to resolve this issue. Although nothing concrete has yet materialized, they are willing to support whoever resolves their issues.
Prime Minister involved in our matter. Prime Minister was kind enough to talk to us, spent half an hour with us, and we explained our issues in depth, and he also spoke to the other group also. So he is confident that he will be able to find a solution. So, but the problem is they have a court verdict which is 100% in favor of them. So they have to come down a little bit rather than sticking on to implement the court order completely. So there got to be some negotiation, some compromise, some give and take policy. So I think all these Prime Minister and the political parties are seeking some kind of compromise formula even from them. So for us, there is nothing for us to compromise because all the charges are taken away.
Not just the BJP this time, even left parties are taking a softer approach towards the church. While in the past they have been at loggerheads on many an issue, leading them to support the UDF, in this election there hasn't been any acrimony.
See, even in the former elections, we had not taken any particular position for any party or coalition. We were giving certain orientations which could be interpreted as taking sides for one coalition or one party like that. But this time we have not given even such orientations. We have raised certain issues in the society which are to be addressed by all the political parties and coalitions so that it will be good for the common welfare of the people.
While religious and social institutes will only make an impact up to a point, the larger question, of course, on the voter's mind will be the issues that impact him in day-to-day life. And perhaps that is what will be more accurately represented when we see the results on May 3rd. Madhavdas Gopalakrishnan in Thiruvananthapuram for Times Now.